For everything there is a season, and a time for every matter under heaven. A time to be born and a time to die. A time to plant and a time to pluck up what is planted. A time to kill and a time to heal. A time to break down and a time to build up. A time to weep and a time to laugh. A time to mourn and a time to dance. Ecclesiastes 3, 1-4, English Standard Version.
John 14. Let not your hearts be troubled. Believe in God, believe also in me. In my Father's house are many rooms. If it were not so, would I have told you that? I go to prepare a place for you. And when I go and prepare a place for you, I will come again and will take you to myself, that where I am also. Amen. I now want to have us look at the obituary, and hopefully you have just a program. I want you to read silently the obituary that's on the back of the program. So we'll give you a few moments to do that. Okay, so now we want to move into the part of the program where we hear from people who knew Dawn very well. And so I just want to open up the floor first to family, to see if there are any family members who would like to make comments. And so I just want to start there, and then we will go on from there.
So let me tell you about the first time I met Dawn. We both worked at Habitat for Humanity, and I was like on my knees working on something, and she walks in and she's walking towards me, and she smiles at me, and it wasn't a flirt, it was just that smile. My chin hit my chest, and it probably took a half an hour to get back to where it needed to go. You know, her smile, and you can see it in the pictures. That was a genuine smile. That was, I don't know. She'd walk in a room and smile, and you know, the room was hers. And it wasn't that she was trying to do that. It was just her presence. I feel like I am the luckiest man in the world to have had her as a wife. I was pretty much a hot mess when we got together. She taught me how to love selfishly, whatever. She taught me how to be a friend. She taught me how to parent. She taught me how to be me, and you know, she changed me, and I am so grateful for that. I miss her. The kids miss her. she's one in a million, 1 in 7 billion, how many of us there are here on this planet. And I just really appreciate you guys all coming and saying goodbye to her. Thank you.
Amen. Yes.
Did not realize there's so many people in here. First I'd like to say that I am not the wordsmith that Dawn was. Give me a spreadsheet, we can talk numbers. Dawn was the person in the family that really could say anything to anybody and say it beautifully. So those of you who don't know me, I'm Jessie, Dawn's daughter. First, I really wanted to thank everyone who made the journey, and I know some people came from really far away and had to fly in and drive far, and so I really appreciate everyone taking their time to come here and celebrate who she was and kind of say goodbye. The one thing I just keep saying over and over is just, she was special. She could communicate, which is the rest of the family, we're not good at that. She could communicate so well, and she forced others to communicate, and I know that myself and everyone else in the family, she made us who we are today. She taught each of us how to be a better person and how to be a better friend, and a better human. She probably is one of the best humans, was the best human on this earth, and I think she brought a light to this world that will be greatly missed. I hope that when things get really hard in the coming weeks and months and years, that we can feel her light and kind of get rid of some of that darkness and the sadness. She meant so much to me, but she meant so much to so many people. I can't even count that high to like how many people she's touched on this world. She was just such a beautiful human, and this world won't be the same without her. Yes.
And I want to open the floor to one of Dawn's complaints.
Hi, my name is Beth. I'm a writer, so I had to write all this down. In 2018, I connected with a woman named Dawn on Twitter. She had just joined the social media network months before, and I'd recently come back after a long time away. We were both there to market the books we were planning to release. I had no idea her life and mine would end up so intertwined. I was looking back at old tweets yesterday after you guys were asking how she and I connected, and I couldn't even remember. It was like I'd just known her. So I was looking back, and it looks like the first time we really chatted was in September 2018. Our release dates were coming up, and I posted about being nervous that my book would suck. She replied saying she had the same fears. If you've read bits and pieces, you know how unfounded those fears were. It's an amazing book. For a while, most of our chats were about publishing, but eventually it got personal.
We encouraged each other through all the ups and downs of author life, which is not as glamorous as it sounds. We learned that we had a lot in common, faith in God and devotion to our families. We developed trust in each other and started opening up about deeper issues, supporting each other through hard times. It was a true friendship, though many miles separated us. When I was going through an especially hard time last year, Dawn was the only person on Twitter that I went to and talked to about it. She was an incredible friend. She shared so much wisdom and encouragement. But I wasn't the only one affected by Dawn's generous heart. She gave and she gave and she gave. She read and reviewed other authors' books. She checked in on people who were struggling. She told her writer friends that she believed in them and their words. Dawn was diagnosed with cancer on November 1st, and she announced it to the world on November 2nd. And with her permission, I put together a GoFundMe, and these thousands of dollars came in really quickly. So you have to ask why, because people get these diagnoses every day, right? And most of them don't get that type of support. But it was because Dawn had done a lot more than just marketing her books on Twitter and TikTok. She had spent the last few years loving the people around her, loving the writers around her, around the world. And after she passed away, I saw these certain comments repeated on social media. People kept saying how Dawn was one of the first people to make them feel welcome to a place like TikTok. And about how she encouraged them to actually publish their books. There are people that have books out there because Dawn told them that they could do it. And about how she always took time to check in on them even when she was sick. Dawn put others above herself, and that's why they came around her to support her. That's why her GoFundMe blew up in the best of ways. Because people want to love those who have loved them. Back in November, when she saw how many people were donating, she sent me this message. I'm astounded and overwhelmed by the support. It makes me feel like God sees me, cares about me, and loves me. It's about so much more than the money for me. It's feeling like I matter and giving me another reason to fight. Dawn planted so much love online, and when she got sick, she reaped a harvest of love. The people around her showed her that God hadn't forgotten her, and she deserved all of the love and support that she got. Hundreds, maybe thousands of people around the world who've never met Dawn are truly grieving her this week. That shows you how special she was. I've been really sad that I never got to meet her in person. I really wanted to hug her. We tried to make a plan for me to visit, and it just didn't work out, There was just so much happening. So I want to take this moment to thank her family for welcoming me when I came into town yesterday. Hugging you guys was the next best thing. And sharing memories with you. Something I won't forget. I miss you, Dawn. You made the Wild West of social media a place of grace and truth and encouragement. It takes a lot to do that. And it won't be the same without her.
I'm Judy. I met Dawn 30 years ago in college. We shared a love of Red Lobster and coffee. And she was opinionated and funny and wickedly sarcastic. I thought she was fabulous. We'd talk for hours on end on the phone about everything and nothing at all. We once talked for 8 straight hours. We made breakfast, lunch, and dinner on the phone. And that was back when phones were still connected to a wall. So I think I'm gonna miss that the most about her, how easy it was to talk to her. And I think that's what made her such a great writer. She really loved talking to people and getting to know them. It was her dream to become a writer. And even battling Crohn's with chronic pain and constant fatigue, she managed to write not 1, but 5 books. But her love of writing took a back seat to her love of her family. More than anything in the world, she wanted to beat cancer so she could stay with them. Her mom, her kids, her granddaughter, and to grow old with Steve. When I think of where she might be now, I'd like to think that she's on a beach somewhere. And she's reading a double homicide murder mystery. She's drinking a gigantic caramel macchiato. I would like to imagine that I'm gonna see her again one day too. And she'll say something sarcastic to me. And she'll hug me and we'll laugh. And she'll finally be able to return the piece of my heart that she took.
There are times when you are so shaken by what you hear that you have no words. Earlier this week when I heard about Dawn's passing, I had no words. I had no thoughts. I couldn't do anything, but I found my wife. And I just gave her a strong hug because I just needed that time to reconnect. And after a while, a word came to me. And the word was grateful. How grateful I was that somehow Dawn and my path had crossed. I thank God for that. How grateful I was that I was able to learn from Dawn. And yes, I said learn. I actually hired Dawn. Dawn worked for me when I was working at Vineyard. And I hired her to be a mentor coordinator. We had a mentoring program. And in the program, we had some tough kids. And Dawn, all of you know, had just this special way about her. She just cared about people so much that they felt it instantly. And I knew I needed that kind of person to be in front of these kids. And some of the kids, they have a term for adults. They say fake or not fake. Dawn was not fake. Dawn was real. Dawn, and one of my favorite pictures that I have, it is with Dawn in a classroom and a whole group of students just huddled around her. They just loved to be around her because they could just feel her sincerity. And to be honest, and one of my former staff members in the room, Abby, you know, Dawn was our secret weapon. So when kids got, you know, all high wire and all that, I said, okay, let's get Dawn. Get Dawn in the room. And just something about the way that she was, something about how she cared for folks and how they felt. They just calmed down. And at a meeting with Mom yesterday, I said, Mom, how did that happen? Did did you give her that? Did she come out of the womb? Because there was a genuine niceness that wasn't contrived, that was real, and that everybody could feel it. And so one of the things I remember about Dawn is just this ability to just, whoever, wherever, she could convey to people how much she cared. And then the other thing that I just admire about Dawn, and it's already been alluded, she wrote 5 books. 5. Now, it may not mean that much to you, but to be honest, I used to be an aspiring writer. I want to write one. I still want to write one. It didn't happen. But the ability of someone to write 5 published books and they're out there and to go to the writing and rewriting and all the proofreading, all that's remarkable. And Dawn, as you know, has fans around the world who've read these books. And so she had a gift. And one of my thoughts is, and we all have gifts, but Dawn used her gift to the fullest. And so I'm just amazed at how she was a wife, a mother, but had this time to write 5 books that are read around the world. And then some things that one thing you all know, and it's in the obituary, Dawn was the most bravest person I know. I mean, because yes, she had, these conditions, and I met with the family, and to be honest, they told me a whole history of things I didn't know. I mean, about all the things that Dawn went through, but instead of just sitting down, Dawn shared it with the world with the hope that by sharing, she could help someone else. And she did. Thousands and thousands of people. And she came on, and as you know, if you've seen it, what was remarkable to me is almost always there was this smile. No matter what the condition was and what she's going to share, her eyes smiled. She just, whatever the situation, there was this smile about it. And in every video, she left and she said, keep me in your prayers. Pray for me. And so she asked, she had the understanding that in this situation, we all get by with the support and prayers for others. And so it is those things, Dawn's ability to love folks, her talent, and her ability to share herself, which is the things that just kind of sticks out in my mind. And so now I just want to say a word to the family. I want to thank you all for sharing Dawn with us. Parents, Mom, and please know that there will be times when you will have no words, when you will think about her and the feeling will come up and there's just no words that you can say. But I want you to remember this moment, and I want you to remember the people in this room, and remember that we are here to hug you, to be there. So I want you to know that we got you. But even more importantly, I want you to know that God's got you. God's got you in this moment. So let me just pray as we bring the program to a close. Dear Heavenly Father, we are grateful that you allowed Dawn to cross our path. the dawn is the beginning of a new day. So as we begin our days ahead, let us keep Dawn's example in our mind. Let us care for people the way Dawn cared for people. Let us love people the way Dawn loved people. Let us use the gifts that we have as Dawn used her gifts. And when trouble arises, let us face them like Dawn did. Always ready and willing to ask the family and friends for prayer. Amen. Amen. And now we'll be guided by the staff from the funeral home.